Have you ever found yourself just wondering what really separates people? You know, the ones who achieve incredible things or maybe just seem genuinely fulfilled from, well, everyone else?
Yeah, what's that secret sauce for you?
Exactly. And it often boils down to these insights that seem, I don't know, almost simple on the surface. But when you really dig in, they're profoundly transformative.
They really are.
Yeah.
Things you kind of nod at, but applying them, that's the trick.
Well, welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we're embarking on a pretty fascinating journey, I think. We're unpacking this really powerful collection of wisdom, all gathered on just one day, actually August 15th, or as our sources call it, Dia 227.
Which is kind of a cool way to frame it, like a snapshot of thinking on a random day.
It is. And we're going to explore what really cultivates, genuine human excellence. And the sources are kind of all over the place, which is fun. We got stuff from Olympic weightlifting, parenting advice, thoughts on friendship, even the art of persuasion.
A real mixed bag, but the themes that emerge are surprisingly consistent.
Totally. So our material today, it's not like one single book. It's more like a tapestry, snippets, reflections, really deep lessons.
Yeah, from people like legendary coaches, bits from Ryan Holiday's Daily Laws and Daily Dad, other observations on just life and relationships. It's quite rich.
It really is. And our mission, what we want to do today is pull out the most important bits, the real nuggets of knowledge from all this stuff. Basically give you, our listener, a shortcut to being really well informed about, well, the foundations of how we grow, connect, achieve our potential.
Get ready for some aha moments, hopefully. Things that might just reframe how you think about success, influence, maybe even love.
Okay, let's dive in. We're starting with something that really challenges how we usually think about achievement, especially in physical stuff. The idea that mind comes first,
Right.
way before matter.
Yeah, the primacy of mind. It's a powerful place to start because it immediately flips our focus
Yeah.
away from just the muscles or the actions and towards the internal stuff, the mental landscape.
It's so counterintuitive, though, isn't it? And the first voice we hear on this is Tommy Kono, Olympic weightlifting legend.
Right, the guy you picture as pure power.
Exactly. You think muscle, brute force. But Kono, he drops this bombshell about what makes a champion. He actually breaks it down into percentages. He says 50% is mental, 50, then 30% technique, and 20% power.
Only 20% power in weightlifting. That's wild.
Isn't it? And what Kano points out, maybe a bit frustratedly, is that most everyone has this in the reverse order of importance.
They focus all on the 20%.
Right. He says people spend too many hours in hard physical training, but hardly any time in grooming his or her mind for the sport. It's like a fundamental misunderstanding of where the real leverage is.
And that's not just about sports, is it? It's a critique of how we approach almost anything difficult. We look at the visible effort, the physical output, and we kind of forget the control room, the mind.
It's a huge challenge to how we normally think. I mean, for you listening, think about it. Whatever you're trying to master, a sport, your job, a complex skill, the idea that the physical part is only 20% and the mental is 50%, that's staggering. You expect strength or talent to be number one.
It is staggering. And here's why it's so profound, I think. The mind, it's like the master architect of excellence. It's not just doing the work. It's drawing the plans.
The blueprint.
Yeah, your mind sets your focus, your resilience when things go wrong, the strategies you use, even how you see your own limits. If that mental blueprint isn't solid, if the architect hasn't, done their job properly.
Then all training in the world.
Exactly. No amount of physical practice or technical skill is going to fully make up for it. And this idea, it goes way beyond the gym. Think about a surgeon in a tricky operation. Their skill is crucial, sure. But it's the mental focus, the calm under pressure that guides it.
Or a musician playing something complex and emotional.
Right. It's not just fast fingers. It's the mental presence, the connection. An entrepreneur launching a startup, their success hinges way more on mental toughness and clear thinking than just the initial funding. The physical or technical stuff, lifting the weight, playing the note, making the sale, it's just the tool executing what the mind planned and prepared.
So neglecting the mind is like building a house without blueprints.
Pretty much. You've got the bricks and wood, maybe, but the whole structure is going to be weak, fundamentally unsound.
And that ties in so well with this broader idea that pops up in the sources. Belief is the thermostat of what we accomplish in life.
Oh, that's a great analogy. The thermostat.
Yeah, it sets the temperature for what's possible for you. It's not just about what you can do, but what you truly deep down believe you can do.
And the sources really drive this home. They say things like, Think big and you will live big. Make your thinking make magic for you. And believe you can succeed and you will. Think doubt and fail. Think victory and succeed.
Now, this isn't just like wishful thinking, is it? Just think positive.
No, it's deeper than that. It's recognizing that our internal world, our mindset, it actually shapes our external reality. It sets the boundaries. When we believe big, we literally expand the scope of what we can perceive and pursue.
So if your internal thermostat is set low,
Your results probably won't rise above that setting. It's like a self-imposed limit. You might have the talent, the opportunity might be right there, but if your belief system says, nah, not possible for me, you probably won't even really try, or you'll sabotage yourself. It's an internal governor.
okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me and hopefully for you listening too. If Kono says mind is 50% and belief is our life's thermostat,
Mm.
what do we do with that? How does this apply day to day?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah. If you're aiming for a promotion or learning an instrument or just trying to be a better parent, how do you connect Kono's weightlifting insight to that? It means looking at your own thermostat, doesn't it? Asking, where have I set my own limits too low?
Absolutely. It means a very first step towards any goal, often the most overlooked one, is consciously building that belief. The source says it directly. You are better than you think you are. And it adds, remind yourself constantly. Never sell yourself short. Believe big to win big success.
Remind yourself constantly. That implies it's work. It's not a one-time fix.
It's exactly that grooming the mind Kono talked about. It's not just rah-rah stuff, it's the foundation. If you don't truly believe you're capable, you just won't put in the sustained mental effort, the resilience needed when things get tough. You'll find excuses. That self-belief is the fuel.
So the mental prep Kono mentioned, it's about building that resilience, seeing opportunity.
Yeah, seeing possibilities where others just see walls. It's the quiet force multiplier inside you.
Okay, so cultivating our own mind, setting our own thermostat high, that's primary for our own success. But then, how do we influence others? It's one thing to manage our own headspace, but shifting someone else's view or actions.
Right? How do you extend that influence outward? And this is where the sources shift gears a bit, moving towards the power of, well, presence and experience over just arguing or persuading with words.
It's another counterintuitive idea, really. We tend to think logic and reason are the way.
We do. We default to making our case, explaining things, but the sources suggest there's often a more direct, more potent route.
Ryan Holiday in Daily Laws is pretty blunt about it. He says, using words to plead your case is risky business. Words are dangerous instruments and often go astray.
Risky business. I like that. Why risky, though?
Well, he says words invite us to reflect on them with words of our own, meaning people start thinking, analyzing, arguing back in their own heads.
And can end up convincing themselves of the opposite.
Exactly. Or they get offended by something you didn't even intend, some unintended association. Words are just slippery.
Okay, so words are tricky. What's the alternative then?
The visual, the experience. Holiday contrasts words with the visual, saying, it short-circuits the labyrinth of words. It strikes with an emotional power and immediacy that leave no gaps for reflection and doubt.
Short circuits the words, straight to the feelings.
Yeah, he uses this great analogy. Like music, it leaps right over rational, reasonable thoughts. It just hits you on a different level.
That makes sense. Our brains process images so fast, and they're tied directly to emotion, bypassing some of that slower analytical thinking.
Right, it's not just about avoiding argument, it's about making a deeper imprint, getting past the skepticism.
So how do we use this? What's the practical advice?
Holiday recommends using this deliberately. He says to organize images and symbols into a grand spectacle that awes people and distracts them from unpleasant realities.
A spectacle. Sounds a bit manipulative.
It could be, definitely. But the underlying principle, he argues, is about understanding human nature. People love what is grand, spectacular, and larger than life. Appeal to their emotions, and they will flock to your spectacle in hordes. The visual is the easiest route to their hearts.
So find the visual route to their hearts and emotions. And this connects to one of the 48 laws of power, right?
Yeah, Law 37. Holiday summarizes it. Stage spectacles for those around you then, full of arresting visuals and radiant symbols that heighten your presence. Dazzled by appearances, no one will notice what you are really doing.
Okay, dazzled by appearances still sounds a little cynical, but the core idea,
Yeah.
what's fascinating here is understanding that people are just fundamentally moved more by what they witness and experience than by what they're told.
Right. It's less about trickery, maybe, and more about knowing how communication actually lands. A powerful demo, a compelling image, an atmosphere.
It bypasses our usual defenses in a way that just talking often doesn't.
Hmm.
You can tell me something's great, but if I experience it being great, that's what sticks. It creates a different kind of reality.
This idea reminds me of something Coach Dan John said. Connecting experience to internal change, he observed. Training in tough conditions builds the eye of the tiger.
Ah, the eye of the tiger, not by reading about it.
Exactly. You don't get it from a lecture on resilience. You get it from the experience of pushing through, of enduring something tough. It builds something visceral inside you.
It's a perfect link. Both Holiday's spectacles and John's tough training, they recognize that these transformative experiences, they kind of bypass our intellectual arguments, our defenses, and create change at a much deeper level.
Yeah, it's like the core truth is change happens through encounter, not argument.
That's it. Like the chocolate ice cream example you used earlier.
Yeah.
Telling me it's good, okay, maybe, then you taste it, boom, immediate, undeniable truth.
The experience is the spectacle. The tough training is the spectacle that builds the inner strength. The visual bypasses the words.
It creates an undeniable impression that rational debate often just can't achieve. It hits you where you live, not just where you think.
Okay, so we've got mind over matter for ourselves and presence or experience over words for influencing others more broadly. Now, how does this play out in our closest relationships? That seems like a different ballgame.
It is, and it isn't. The principal shift may be in application, but the core ideas of presence, timing, and understanding human nature are maybe even more critical in intimate settings. It's about the delicate art of knowing when to step in and, crucially, when to step back.
The sources have this beautiful insight from Gloria Naylor about friendship. She wrote, "Sometimes being a friend means mastering the art of timing."
Mastering the art of timing.
Yeah.
What does that involve?
Well, she says there is a time for silence, a time to let go and allow people to hurl themselves into their own destinies, and a time to prepare to pick up the pieces when it's all over.
Wow, that's profound and hard. Let go and allow people to hurl themselves into their own destinies, even if you see a cliff ahead.
That's the challenge, isn't it? It's this deep wisdom about relationships. It suggests that real love, real friendship, sometimes means restraint. It means trusting the other person's journey, their capacity to learn and grow, even if it involves struggle or pain.
It fights against every instinct to protect, to fix, to intervene when you see someone you care about heading for trouble.
It really does. We have this powerful urge to jump in, to smooth the path, to prevent the fall. So how do you reconcile that protective instinct with this wisdom of giving space? It feels like a really difficult balance to strike.
It's absolutely a tightrope. And it brings up that crucial question. How do you know if you're truly supporting someone versus just enabling them? Or maybe even hindering their growth by always stepping in?
Right. What's the difference?
Naylor's insight suggests true support isn't always about preventing the fall. Sometimes it's about being the reliable safety net after the fall. It's about respecting their autonomy, their right to make their own mistakes and learn their own lessons, even the hard ones. It's a quiet presence, maybe, rather than loud intervention.
That requires immense trust
Yeah.
and patience.
And a focus on their long-term growth over your short-term comfort or their short-term ease.
This idea, simple in concept but incredibly hard in practice, really comes through in Ryan Holiday's reflections on parenting, too, the daily dad stuff.
Ah, yes, the parenting paradox.
He starts by acknowledging how incredibly hard parenting is in one sense, keeping your kids safe, keeping them fed, keeping them in the best schools, making sure they get good grades, all that stuff.
Plus navigating just life. Murphy's Law, bills, your own issues, all while trying to raise tiny humans. He calls it an impossible job with impossible expectations.
Yeah, every parent listening is probably nodding along right now.
For sure. But then he flips it, he says, in another very real sense. Being a parent is actually about the easiest job in the world.
Easiest how?
Because, he argues, what kids really need, fundamentally, is incredibly simple. It's that you love them, that you accept them, that you support and encourage them, that you cheer for them, that you be their biggest fan.
Okay, those sound simple. Loving them, accepting them.
But then he hits you with it. He says, nothing, literally nothing short of death can stop you from doing those things. And then he asks, almost challenging you, seriously, how hard is it to believe in them? How hard is it to be encouraging?
And yet, as a parent, sometimes those easy things feel like the hardest things in the world to do consistently, especially when you're tired or frustrated or scared for them.
And that's the absolute core of the paradox. Why are they hard? Because these things, love, acceptance, encouragement, They require no special skills or resources. You don't need money or degrees for
No
this.
fancy equipment needed.
Right. But what they do demand is the hardest thing of all, the discipline to consistently offer presence over control, belief over judgment.
Presence over control, belief over judgment. That's it, isn't it?
That's the discipline. It's showing up emotionally day after day without conditions. It's hard because it means letting go of your own ego, your fears, your need to dictate how things turn out. It's about creating that safe space where they can grow, even if their path isn't what you'd planned.
So, when they're having a tantrum or making a choice you disagree with, the hard discipline thing is to offer belief, not just jump in and control.
Often, yes. It requires incredible self-awareness and consistent emotional regulation from the parent. It's often harder than just, say, doing their homework for them or fixing the immediate problem. It's that constant, unwavering thermostat of belief, but aimed at them.
So this pattern keeps emerging. Fundamental truths are simple, but living them out consistently is incredibly difficult. This seems to be a central theme running through all these different sources.
Absolutely. It leads us right into this idea we're calling the paradox of simplicity and complexity. The most effective stuff is often basic, but applying it in the messy real world, that takes serious discipline.
Like that training philosophy, drill it, skill it, thrill it. Sounds kind of catchy, right? Like something on a gym t-shirt.
It does. But it's actually quite deep when you unpack it. It's saying that real development needs a cycle. You need the focus, practice, the drill. But too much drill alone, that cuts out a lot of fun and enjoyment and can kill motivation.
Too much drill is kill.
Right. You need the focused repetition to build the skill, but you also need the thrill, the application, the play, the enjoyment to integrate it and keep the motivation high. It's about balance, not just relentless grinding.
Finding that sweet spot between structure and, well, joy.
Exactly. It recognizes that even in disciplined pursuits, engagement and intrinsic motivation are key. It's not mindless repetition, it's mindful, purposeful, and ideally enjoyable practice.
Then there's this other tension the sources raise between our own attitude and the world around us. First, we get, it is our attitude towards life that determines life's attitude towards us.
Which sounds like straightforward adaptive optimism. Take responsibility for your outlook.
Yeah. But then, boom, you get the counterpoint from J. Krishnamurti. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society.
Whoa. Okay, so which is it? Positive attitude or recognize the sickness?
And this is where that discernment, that discipline comes right back in, isn't it? How do you navigate these? When is it good attitude, healthy resilience, and when is it just sticking your head in the sand? Blind conformity.
What's fascinating is that the wisdom isn't about picking one. It's about knowing when to apply each. It's about discerning when to adjust your internal attitude to face challenges and when to question or challenge the external environment.
So cultivate resilience for personal stuff, but don't use positive thinking as an excuse to ignore real problems in the world.
Precisely. Your attitude towards life's challenges matters. But being well-adjusted to injustice or systemic dysfunction, that's not healthy. The complexity isn't in the simple truths. Attitude matters. Society can be sick. Both can be true. The complexity is in the wisdom to know which lens to use when.
It requires critical thinking, maybe even moral courage sometimes.
And a constant discernment.
Yeah.
That's the discipline needed to apply simple truths in a complex world. Be an optimist about your own agency, but a clear-eyed critic when needed.
So it all synthesizes back to this core idea. The deepest truths are indeed simple love, belief, presence, timing. They sound easy. They feel intuitively right.
But they're not easy in practice. Executing them consistently, day in, day out, amidst all the chaos and complexity of life, that requires extraordinary discipline and discernment.
Like saying love your kids is easy, but consistently offering that presence over control, belief over judgment, through tantrums and defiance and exhaustion, that's the real work.
Or knowing visuals are powerful is one thing, but consistently creating authentic, compelling experiences. That takes focus, creativity, effort. The simplicity is in the concept, the difficulty is in the consistent, messy, real-world application.
And when we manage to do that, when we practice these simple, disciplined acts over time, that's where legacy comes in, isn't it? But maybe not legacy in the way we usually think about it.
Exactly. It shifts the whole idea of legacy away from, statues and achievements and towards something much more intimate and human. It's about how we live on inside others.
There's this incredibly tender quote from Warren Zevon that captures it perfectly. Sometimes while you're doing simple things around the house, maybe you will think of me and smile.
Oh, that's beautiful. So simple.
Isn't it? He goes on, "You know I am tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. Keep me in your heart for a while." Just that image. The buttons on a blouse. So mundane, yet so intimate.
And that's it. That image of intimate, everyday connection reveals how we truly live on in others. It's not the grand speeches or heroic deeds. It's the accumulated weight of small moments, shared presence, and genuine care.
Legacy isn't the highlight reel. It's the feeling you leave behind, woven into ordinary life.
It's the quiet warmth, the echo of your character and their daily thoughts and routines. It's the subtle influence that remains.
And Holiday connects this directly back to parenting. He says, remember, if you give your kids what they need, that love, acceptance, support, cheerfully, regularly, sincerely, it will stick with them as a voice in their heads for as long as they and their own children live.
A voice in their heads. That's powerful. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What voice am I creating? What am I truly passing on?
It's often way more subtle than we think. Holiday says, our way of being becomes the inner voice that guides those we love long after we're gone.
Wow. So the values, the self-belief, the resilience, or maybe the anxieties and criticisms too, that we model, not just preach, become part of their internal programming.
Yeah. It becomes their inner compass, their resource. That's the real inheritance, far more enduring than money or property. It's the spirit they carry forward.
So it really is about those everyday moments, the consistent presence, the quiet belief. That's what builds the inner world of the people we love. That's the fabric of legacy.
And this legacy, this connection woven from small, consistent acts, it all happens within a world that's defined by one thing above all else: change.
Yes. Which brings us to maybe the ultimate synthesizing idea here, the constant of change and the crucial choice we have in how we respond to it.
Because that's the fundamental truth, isn't it? The bedrock reality. The only constant is change. Everything is always in flux. Nothing ever stays the same.
And recognizing that is actually incredibly liberating. Because if everything is always changing and so much is outside our control,
then trying to control it all is futile.
exactly, it wastes so much energy.
Maybe.
So the sources suggest what truly matters isn't our ability to control circumstances, but our capacity to respond with wisdom, presence, and authenticity. The power isn't in controlling the external, it's in mastering the internal response.
So looking back at our examples through this response over control lens, it all clicks together. Tommy Kono, the weightlifter.
He trains the mind more than the body. His response to the challenge isn't just more force, it's more mental preparation, more focus.
The wise parent.
They offer love more than solutions. They respond to the child's struggles with presence and belief, not just by fixing everything or controlling the outcome.
The supportive friend.
They master timing more than advice, responding with quiet presence and readiness, not immediate, perhaps unwanted intervention.
The effective influencer.
They create compelling experiences more than convincing arguments, choosing to respond through impact and resonance, not just logic chopping.
In every case, they're choosing to focus on what they can control, their mindset, their presence, their response, rather than what they cannot.
Yes, it's a fundamental shift from fighting the external tide to building an unshakable internal anchor. That internal core, the trained mind, the authentic presence, the wise response, the deep belief that becomes the source of true excellence and resilience, no matter what changes come.
So when you pull all these threads together, what emerges from this day's worth of wisdom is like a blueprint, an architecture of human excellence.
It really is. And it's an architecture built not on force or trying to control everything or manipulate outcomes. It's built on the patient work of cultivating your mind.
The generous act of offering your presence.
And the disciplined practice of choosing your response authentically.
Whether it's lifting weights, raising kids, being a friend, the core principles seem universal. Mind over matter, presence over persuasion, timing over urgency.
And maybe underpinning it all, love over fear. These aren't just nice ideas, they're the practical building blocks for a life that has real impact and deep fulfillment.
And maybe, going back to Krishnamurti, in a world that can often feel profoundly sick, these insights aren't about just adjusting to it. They're a call to embody something different.
Yeah, our highest calling isn't just to fit in, but to be the change. Through that quiet discipline, right thinking, real presence, generous love, we become the spectacle that actually matters.
What kind of spectacle?
A human being fully alive to their own potential, and because of that, naturally committed to helping lift others towards theirs. It's about radiating that different way of being.
And it comes back to that core reminder threaded through the sources. You are better than you think you are. The real work isn't proving it to the world.
No. The real challenge for you listening is to believe it so deeply, so fundamentally, that it becomes the bedrock, the foundation from which everything else flows, your actions, your responses, your growth.
So the final thought to leave you with is this. As you go through your day, facing all its changes, big and small, how will you choose? How will you cultivate your mind? How will you offer your presence? And how will you choose your response?